sways an evening wind, softly lighting where you've been. Steam begins its upward climb, drawing verses lost in time. Rooftop breeze and midnight air feels like peace beyond compare. You sit down beside the rail, let your tired defenses fail. Lanterns glow across the cup, lifts your heavy spirit up. Steam disperses into space, painting poems you can trace. Every swirling moonlit haze writes the truth of all your days. You recall the crowd below, hours passing soft and slow. Someone cracked beneath their weight, someone tried to hide their fate. Lantern now repeats their song, telling you you've helped so long. Steam becomes the fragile verse of the burdens they rehearse. Maybe tea reveals the soul, shows you parts you can't control. Maybe lantern on this height turns your shadows into light. Rooftop steam lantern verse, read me clear, tell me why I'm standing here. Every rising silver plume cleans the ache of unseen gloom. If tomorrow turns me cold, sing me lines I once foretold. Lantern humming soft and kind, guide the storm inside my mind. For the weight you carried down, through the laughter and the frown. Steam becomes a lullaby, floating gently through the sky. Lantern warms your trembling hands, telling truth your heart understands. You remember someone sweet who would always take this seat. They once said the sky is wide, bigger than the fear inside. Now the lantern casts their trace in a soft fifth become on fire. Dust settles on the counter's edge, soft as whispers you once pledged. Amber light begins to fall, stretching shadows on the wall. You run fingers through the grain, feeling day dissolve its strain. Countertone and fading glow, stars that tell you didn't show. Every cup you wiped today left a mark in quiet gray. Someone laughed with shaking breath, someone mourned a quiet death. Dust now gathers every piece, turns a noise to fragile peace. Manuscript in dimming tone, writes what no one else has known. You recall the crowded hours, people rushing, lacking power. Someone spilled their fear in lines, someone read between the signs. Now the counter's glowing seam feels like pages of a dream. Every ring left by a glass holds a truth you let pass. Maybe dusk reveals the truth, softens wounds from fading youth. Maybe countertones tonight, write your grief in amber light. Countertone dust manuscript unfold. slow. Show the parts I never show. Every shimmer in this haze writes forgiveness through my days. If tomorrow dims my will, let this dusk remind me still. I have given more than pain. I have warmed someone again. The grinders echo in the back. Feels like lines you can't unpack. Old emotions stored in shelves. Hidden letters to yourself. Dusk replays the softer scenes. Paints them deep in golden greens. Manuscript begins to read all the care you didn't need. Someone sat alone at 3, trying hard just to be free. You brewed kindness in their cup, listened as they opened up. Countertone now hums their tale, soft as leaves that gently fail. Warm reflections in the wood tell you that you still do good. Maybe manuscripts aren't ink, but the moments when you think. Maybe counters soaked in light hold your worth in subtle sight. Dust becomes a quiet guide, pulling healing from inside. Countertone in falling glow shows the love you didn't know. Manuscript don't fade tonight, keep me wrapped in gentle light. If the morning feels too cold, write my courage bright and bold. Every line in muted flame says my heartbeat still remains. Countertone in fading dew writes a gentler version of you. You lock doors and dim the room, feel release replace the gloom. Manuscript in dying light follows you into the night. Countertone in final gleam hands your soul a softer dream. Dusk departs but leaves its art, quiet pages in your heart. Thin Tealine marks the brim, glowing soft and slightly dim. Sunset slips behind the glass, watching all your worries pass. You hold the cup with steady hands, feel the warmth like velvet bands. Horizon glows in golden sweep, carrying secrets you still keep. Someone earlier sat in fear, told you life felt unclear. You let silence be their space, gave them room to breathe with grace. Now the Tealine on your drink shows you truth you didn't think. Horizon bends in gentle light, telling you you acted right. You recall the late day storm, chaos rushing out of form. Someone cried, someone laughed, someone lost the strength they had. Yet the Tealine stays serene, calm as seas in twilight sheen. Testament in fading hue says you carried others too. Maybe tea reveals the soul, writes your story as a whole. Maybe lines along the rim hold the parts you kept too dim. Tealine, horizon, testament, speak for me. Tell me what I'm meant to be. Every glowing amber air says my heart is still aware. If tomorrow You tilt the cup and watch it shift. Feel your heavy spirit lift. Tealine glides in gentle arc, painting hope against the dark. Someone once used to know said your heart was made to glow. Though they're gone in daily stride, their reflection stays inside. Sunset deepens into wine, burning through the Tealine shine. Little waves along the edge speak of promises and pledge. Testament in muted tone shows you you're not alone. Every sip you slowly take mends the pieces that might break it. Maybe horizons aren't far lands, but the warmth inside your hands. Maybe cup and sinking sun show the strength you've slowly won. Tealine glows like ancient script, holding love the world has kept. Testament of dusk and tea says there's more you're meant to be. Horizon whispers, stay with me. Guide my steps so I can see. If I doubt my inner light, let your glow restore my sight. Every tremble on the brim writes my courage limb by limb. Tealine shining soft and bright holds my heart throughout the night. Sunset fades, the cup turns cold, yet the story still is told. Horizon in its final gleam follows gently through your dream. Tealine whisper in the blue, I still see the good in you. The lantern hangs above your head, casting golden gentle thread. Steam from your last cup of tea rises slow in harmony. You breathe in the quiet air, feel the calm begin to flare. Closing out begins to bend, turning night into a friend. Lantern flickers once or twice, painting shapes like fragile ice. Steam drifts upward soft and clear, blurring lines from far too near. Parallax begins to bloom, shifting memories through the room. Every shimmer in the haze writes the truth of all your days. You recall the crowded time, voices tangled out of rhyme. Someone smiled with honest grace, someone hid behind their face. Lantern kept its glow above, silent witness endless love. Steam now lifts their echoed tones, carving notes in fading bones. Maybe closing time reveals all the hurt the daylight steals. Maybe lanterns drift in beam, writes the heart you rarely dream. Lanternsteam closing parallax, guide me slow, tell me things I ought to know. Every shimmer in the air shows the weight I used to bear. If tomorrow finds me weak, let your shifting lantern speak. Parallax in fading glow, show me where my courage flows. You sip once and close your eyes, letting fears begin to rise. Lantern paints them on the wall, soft and harmless, nearly small. Steam dissolves the hardest part, lifts the burden from your heart. Parallax across the beam, turns regret into a dream. Someone earlier came in tears, broken by their hidden fears. You said nothing brewed them calm, let the silence be the balm. Lantern watch the moment pass, leaving hope in pooling glass. Later now the steam repeats, every heartbeat, every beat. Maybe parallax tonight shows your flaws in softer light. Maybe lanterns shine in steam, hold the truth beneath your dream. Shift in layers in the room, sweep away your quiet gloom. Closing hour becomes a guide, pulling strength from deep inside. Lantern steam, don't fade away. Stay with me beyond the day when my heart begins to break. Hold me steady for my sake. Every trembling line you cast writes a piece that seems to last. Parallax in silver bend, tell me loss is not the end. You stand still and watch it swirl, steam around a shining curl. Lantern glows like softer dawn, even though the night goes on. Your reflection on the glass seems less heavy than it was. Parallax of selves you've been, layers out what lies within. Steam grows thin, the air grows cold, but the story has been told. Lantern dims but leaves a trace, warm like fingerprints on space. You unlock the door once more, feel new breath beyond the floor. Closing parallax in view, says there's more ahead for you. First mug of the night shift hums, porcelain under tired thumbs. Steam ascends in gentle arcs, tiny comets, fading sparks. You lean against the metal sink, let your restless heartbeat sink. Overture in rising heat sets the tone for every beat. The doorbell chimes, the tables wait, quiet hands of patient fate. Floors remember every step, every promise never kept. Mug sits glow stand still before the rush, before the crowd. Night is soft, not yet too loud.
You think of nights that came before, different faces through that door. Some were broken, some were brave, some just needed sleep to save. Every shift rewrote your name, pulled you deeper in this game. Now this mug in muted light starts the music of the night.
Nightshift Mug Overture, play for me. Warm the parts I cannot see. Let your steam conduct the air, guide my heart to gentle care. If the hours cut too deep, hold my pulse when I can't sleep. Porcelain and glow and blur, be my quiet overture. Soon the voices will collide, orders pour in, tides on tide. But for now the rhythm's slow, only clocks and fridges know. You wrap fingers round the clay, anchor drifted thoughts that stray. Every sip a single chord, echoing what you're here for.
Maybe life is scored like this, moments you in chaos kiss, opening cleans in quiet rooms, swelling into crowded booms. Mud becomes the first motif, foam and heat and small relief. You exhale and close your eyes, let the overture arise.
You lift the mug and take it in, feel the warmth beneath your skin. Night uncurls beyond the door, ready to be lived once more. Whatever comes, you've heard the cue, overture has played you through. Tiny drops along the tray, silver beads in disarray. Machine sighs a final breath, ending shifts of grind and stress. Starlight in the cafe glow finds the droplets row by row. Ledger forms in liquid ink, more than you might ever think. You crouch down to wipe it clean, see the galaxies between. Each small dot of coffee sheen feels like something in between. There's a ring from morning's rush, from the orders, from the crush. There's a streak from evening's ache, from a heart about to break. Driptray, starlight, ledger, keep the score. Mark the souls who touch this floor. If the world forgets their names, shine them in your quiet frames. Every droplet, every mark is a star within the dark. In your mirrored silent sea, hold the ones who leaned on me. You remember hands that shook, eyes that couldn't hold your look. People searching for a sign, for a reason, for a line. All they left in solid space was a stain in metal's face. Yet the tray beneath the light turns their absence into bright. Maybe records aren't in books, but in corners no one looks. In the stains and in the steam, in the edges of a dream. You keep wiping, but you know some things never really go. Starlight ledger in the steel holds the proof that they were real. When you finally stand again, train out free of dust and stain, you still see in phantom glow all the stars you used to know. In the hush before you leave, you let yourself at last believe. Ledger, metal, night and hue, they've been seen and so have you. Rain rehearses on the glass, writing lines as people pass. Windowseat and muted gray feels like hiding from the day. You sit down with cooling tea, let the story come to be. Manuscript in water strokes forms between the city's chokes. Headlights smear in yellow ink, traffic thoughts you never think. Every drop that slides and breaks turns to words the sky remakes. Someone sat here soaked and numb, fingers tapping nervous thumb. Now the rain completes their phrase, finishing their hidden maze. Windowseat rain manuscript, write me clear, tell me why I ended here. If my pages feel half torn, fill the margins I've outworn. Let your watery handwriting turn my fear to something lighter. Every sentence down the pane, wash my heart in silver rain. You remember younger days when you chased 1,000 ways, thought the future had to shine, perfect polish, sharpen line. Now you watch the raindrops blur, every edge you thought was sure. Manuscript in sliding streams teaches you to bend your schemes. Maybe plans are meant to run like these rivers just begun. Not a script that must not change, but a draft that can rearrange. Rain erases, rain rewrites, soft revisions into nights. Windowseat becomes your desk, hard your ink, the storm your rest. When the shower starts to fade and the sky turns muted jade, you rise slowly from your chair, leave the story in the air. On the glass the final line, you are here and that is fine. Manuscript and rain's embrace, you step forward, giving grace. You step forward, giving grace. Giving grace. You step forward, giving grace.
Shot clock, milk, steam grinder, hum, all in time with your own drum. Apron tied around your frame, name tag shining in the flame. Hands move almost on their own, yet the thoughts are yours alone. Hidden under froth and foam is the heart that calls its home. You count seconds, pull and pour, doorbell rings a little more. Extra hot and half sweet, please. People's moods and recipes. But beneath the practiced smile, there's a voice that runs a mile. Barista pulse and low monologue, talking through the busy fog. Barista pulse monologue, speak inside, tell the truths I always hide. If I'm more than cups and change, help my spirit rearrange. Over over snares and roads and bass. Let my heartbeat find its place in this small fluorescent sea. Let me still belong to me. You remember why you stayed, how this counter felt like shade. People came with shattered days, left with slightly softer gaze. Some called you by name like friends, some just nodded at the end. Yet in every thank you glance, you felt life had one more chance. Maybe you were more than staff, more than jokes that make them laugh. Maybe every drink you craft is a rap for someone deaf. Maybe you're allowed to dream, even while you steam and clean. Pulse beneath the lo-fi song says you're right where you belong. Rush dies down, the clocks grow slow. Warm exhaustion starts to glow. You remove your apron's weight, heart still beating, not too late. Monologue inside your chest softly whispers you did your best. In the closing cafe air, you feel seen at least by there.
Needle spins in quiet rings, dusty saxophone still sings. Dawn leans in through cloudy panes, bleaching out the midnight stains. You sit down beside the deck, rub the ache out of your neck. Vinyl crackles soft and slow, writes the end of all you know. Every track that played tonight held someone through their private fight. Upright bass and gentle keys carried them like midnight seas. Now the record's final groove makes the shadows start to move. Epilogue in fading tone says you're not completely alone. Dawnshift final epilogue, spin once more, close the chapter on this floor. If my chest still holds the night, let your melody set it right. Every hiss and every pop tells me it's okay to stop. When the sunlight fills the room, let your echo break my gloom. Recall the first song played when the evening crowd was made. Someone nodded to the beat, tapping rhythm with their feet. Later on when things were rough, music wasn't just enough, yet it held the broken parts, cradled soft, unseen hearts. Maybe life's a record side, moments etched we cannot hide. We just play them start to end, hope they heal us note and bend. Then we flip to something new, different chords and point of view. Dawnshift as the needle climbs, ready for the changing times. You lift the arm and stop the spin, hear the city waking in. Birds replace the snare and ride, morning takes the midnight sigh. You exhale a final sigh, let the heavy hours fly. Final rest, the story told. You step into fresh light bold. You rest your hands beside the cup, let the quiet gather up. Evening light begins to skim, painting notes along the rim. Memo verse in subtle tone writes the thoughts you never own. Someone earlier spoke of loss, placed their fear upon this gloss. Shadows wrapped around their hands, soft as threads in quiet lands. Now the drift beneath your cup brings their courage back up. Memo verse in softened shade holds the steps they almost made. Cupshadow drift memo verse how for me mark the things I couldn't see. If my heart begins to roam, guide it gently back to home. Every shadow faint and blue holds a truth I once outgrew. Memo verse in evening's glow, teach me where my feelings go. Cupshadow fades into the night, leaving memory in its light. Memo verse in drifting sea wakes a gentler part to dream. You settle on the rooftop rail, let the cooling teacup exhale. Steam curls upward like a thread, carrying things you left unsaid. Draftline forms in drift and heat, fragile, trembling, incomplete. Night breeze takes the rising mark, stretches it into the dark. You remember crowded hours, people worn from losing power. Someone held their breath too long, someone fought to stay strong. Now the Teacurl in the sky writes their notes in gentle cry. Draftline sways across the night, turning sorrow into light. Rooftop Teacurl, draftline carry me, lift my fears into the breeze. If I lose my place again, let your lines become my pen. Every curl in fading blue feels like truth I never knew. Draftline humming soft and slow, tell me where I ought to go. Steam grows thin, the night grows wide, yet your calm stays by your side. Draftline drifting through the air holds the weight you couldn't share. Evening gathers on the glass, quiet moments drifting past. Tiny droplets sliding rows, telling in truce, no daylight knows. You lean closer just to see what the night repeats to thee. Parable in silver arc glows like lantern in the dark. Someone earlier took this seat, worn out shoes and shuffling feet. Every sigh they held inside left a mark you couldn't hide. Dripglass now retells their tale, soft, unpolished, fragile, pale. Parable in trembling lines sings what they could not define. Dripglass evening, parables speak to me. Show the heart I fail to see. If I carry too much weight, let your droplets relocate. Every trail in fading blue feels like finding something true. Parable and gentle view hold the hope I'm clinging to. Glass grows still as night expands. Stories slipping through your hands. Evening's whispers drift away. Parable remains to stay. Lantern sits beside your chair, feeling silence everywhere. Soft and cold along the wood warms you more than coffee could. You exhale as shoulders fall. Feel the calm that wraps it all. Reverie and lantern hue. Open something small and true. You recall the late day rush, voices tangled, noise and flush. Someone breaking, someone healed, stories halfway unrevealed. Now the lantern near your knees turns those moments into ease. Quiet glow and pulsing beat writes their echoes at your feet. Lanternseat, quiet reverie. Carry me, let my restless spirit free. If tomorrow weighs me down, hold my breath before I drown. Every flicker, soft and slow, guides me where I need to go. Reverie in golden seam, rock me into gentler dream. Lantern dims, but not your mind. Pieces left is still behind. Seed grows cold, but that small gleam stays inside you like a dream. The cools beside your hand. Steamtrace rising thin and planned. Every curl that lifts and breaks feels like all the silent aches. Closing hour almost done, yet your heart is still undone. Draft begins in floating light, soft as breath and fading shine. You think back on every face, every hush and every chase. Someone lost their voice today, someone found a better way. Steamtrace writes their hidden parts in the space between your hearts. Closing draft and drifting white, sings their struggles through the night. Steamtrace closing draft unfold for me. Show the worth I couldn't see. If my courage starts to fade, lift me with the hope you made. Every wisping gentle lark guides me through the heavy dark. Draft that carries stays last breath. Pull me back from inner death. Steam dissolves into the air, leaving quiet everywhere. Closing draft in muted glow stays within you, soft and slow. As you lock the cafe door, you don't feel alone no more. The foam line drifts along the top, barely moving, barely stopped. Morning slips through window glass, turning minutes slow to pass. You rest your fingers near the cup, let the rising quiet build up. Reverie in gentle white starts to bloom beneath the light. Someone earlier walked in fast, fueled by ghosts of broken past. You brewed warmth in muted tone, let them sit and breathe alone. Foamline now repeats their sigh, like a cloud that won't deny. Every swirl and drifting cream feels like fragments of a dream. You remember nights before, heavy footsteps on the floor, people searching for a truth, people grieving stolen youth. Now the morning softened hue turns their echoes something new. Foamline dances in a ring, writing what you couldn't bring. Maybe foam remembers things lost between the trembling strings. Maybe cups of morning gold write the stories seldom told. Quiet foamline reverie verse, sing to me, tell me who I'm meant to be. Every circle soft and slow shows the weight I didn't show. If I lose my voice today, help my spirit find its way. Foamline drifting pale and true, keep my heart from sinking through. You tilt the cup and watch it glide, foamline shifting side to side. It draws outlines of your fears, traces shapes of hidden tears. Then it breaks into a wave, soft enough your heart behaves. Every crest that fades away says you're safe for one more day. peace comes slow and thin, not a storm that shakes within. Maybe reverie you chase lives in moments small with grace. Foamline curves in drifting art tells the tempo of your heart. Cup becomes a tiny stage where your worries disengage. Reverie verse, don't leave yet. Help my breathing to reset. If the world feels sharp or loud, wrap me in your misty cloud. Every trace upon the brim sings the strength I hold within. Foamline fading soft but bright, guide me into gentler light. When the foam line finally dies, morning still remains and sighs. You lift the cup and breathe again, feel the calm beneath your skin. Reverie that rose so slow left a truth you now can know. Even small and fragile signs write salvation in their lines. Lanternmist drifts across the bar, glowing faint like distant star. Counter hums with warmth and rest, holding stories unexpressed. You lean forward, palms on wood, breathing slow as a lantern should. Hymnal rises through the steam, softer than your deepest dream. Voices low, strangers speaking soft and slow. Someone fought to keep control, someone cracked beneath the toe. Lanternmist absorbs their cries, turns them into lullabies. Every curl that lifts and fades carries all their hidden shades. When the crowd had left the floor, you still felt a little more. Cup rings drying at your feet, rhythms of the day's heartbeat. Lanternmist begins to sing every unresolved small thing. Counterwood in amber glow shows the ache you never show. Maybe hymns are written best when the night is tightly pressed. Maybe lanterns in the dark heal the quiet unseen mark. Lanternmist count a hymnal, hum for me, hold my fears in harmony. If I tremble through the night, sing my heart back into light. Every drifting silver plume pushes back the creeping gloom. Hymnal wrapped in amber dust, teach me how again to trust. You take cloth and start to wipe, letting thoughts align and type. Lanternmist reacts to each, turning silence into speech. Someone earlier left a note, half-torn words they couldn't quote. Counter hymnal reads it now, turning sorrow into vow. You walk slowly toward the till, feel the mist around you fill. Hymnal circles through your chest, letting tired bones finally rest. Steam reflects your silhouette, soft forgiveness for regret. Lanternmist in tongue unknown sings that you're not on your own. Maybe hymns the lantern keeps guard our memories while we sleep. Maybe Counter's wooden seam holds more truth than it may seem. In this quiet drifting blend, you can breathe and not pretend. Lanternmist in floating grace, hold your shadows in its space. Counter hymnal, stay with me, calm my heart in minor key. If if my courage starts to fade, lift me with the light you made. Every note in unseen choir, fan my inner fading fire. Lanternmist in fading hue sings the best remaining you. Lantern dims, but still you feel hymnal threads that gently heal. Counter cools, but doesn't lose all the warmth the night infuse. You turn off the cafe light, carry hymns into the night. Lanternmist in final gleam, follow softly through your dream. Counterlight drifts across the grain, soft as breath after the rain. Midnight settles on the tiles, calm in all the day's reviles. You lean forward, arms at rest, feeling weight release your chest. Canticle begins to rise, bright and fragile, thin as size. Someone earlier tried to speak, words too heavy, far too weak. You had offered them a seat, let them find a steady beat. Now the counterlight recalls how they fought against their walls. Every shimmer in its sway holds the truth they meant to say. You recall the dinner rush, all the chaos, all the crush. People searching for a pause, trying hard to fix their flaws. Counterlight observed it all, every whisper, every call. Canticle in fading white sings their shadows into light. Maybe counters hold the cries, locked behind exhausted eyes. Maybe drifting beams at night turn our worries into light. Counterlight drift, canticle sing for me, lift my heart in minor key. If tomorrow steals my grace, lay your glow across my face. Every note in silent air feels like something healing there. Canticle in golden sweep, guard the memories I keep. You wipe down the wooden top, letting thoughts begin to stop. Yet the counterlight returns, tracing where your spirit burns. Someone laughed at 8 tonight, leaving echoes soft and bright. Canticle repeats their tune underneath the silver moon. You take one step toward the door, feel the night a little more. Counterlight then bends and shakes, reading all your small heartbreaks. Canticle in muted gold sings the things you can't withhold. Every drifting quiet chord feels like peace you can't afford. Maybe songs you never hear play for you when night is near. Maybe counters made of wood keep your secrets understood. Canticle in subtle hum softens where your fears come from. You exhale